Hello. I've had diabetes since I was a little girl. Now, as a 21-year-old, I've learned that diabetes is not just a health condition. It's also a story. And how society tells that story, that's where disability stigma lies. Garland Thompson defines staring as a form of social control, not by observation, but by judgment. In disability studies, we talk about the gaze. It's that feeling of being stared at like your body is a spectacle. In The Examined Life, Sunara Taylor explains how drinking from a cup of water with her mouth wasn't hard because of her body. It was hard because of how people looked at her. And that really struck me. I used to hide my pens, my pumps in school, not because I was ashamed of my body, but because I didn't want to be seen as different. Legally, yes, diabetes is a disability. The ADA says so. But culturally, it's not treated like one. Why? Because diabetes challenges society's ideas of who looks disabled. We've built this hierarchy where visible disabilities are quote unquote real and invisible ones are just bad life choices. And that's ableism. It's reinforced in media, healthcare, and even classrooms. In 1904, disabled people were put in living exhibits at the World's Fair. Deaf and blind children were surrounded by literal bars. They were sorted into improvable versus unimprovable. If they were seen as capable of becoming more normal, they were showcased. If not, they were pathologized and discarded. And honestly, that system really never ended. Today, if your diabetes is manageable, you're considered worthy. But if you struggle, you're seen as irresponsible. In Code of the Freaks, we learn about many tropes. Essentially, one explains how if you're disabled, death is painted as noble. Like in $1 Million Baby, where Maggie chooses euthanasia after becoming quadriplegic. That message, that disabled life isn't worth living, it trickles down. People start believing we're burdens, that managing our condition is a failure and not survival. In class, we discussed who gets to define normalcy. Why do we pathologize difference? Why is a glucose monitor seen as strange, but a Fitbit is cool? This isn't about fixing people. It's about changing environments. Because, as Taylor says, most of what disables us isn't our condition. It's the way society reacts to us. I used to think my disability was something I had to overcome. Now I think it's something I live with and live through. What needs to change isn't me, it's how we tell our stories. So if you're living with diabetes or any chronic illness, know this. You do not owe anyone resilience. You do not have to be a hero. You just have to be. And if you've ever felt stared at, pitied, or erased, just know that there is a space where disabled voices, especially those often let out of the conversation, get heard. And I hope that this offers inspiration and motivation, especially as someone who thinks diabetes is not just sugar.